Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Healing Circle number 44. And we have our amazing special guest, Jason Kirkpatrick, with us tonight. And we're very happy to have you. Say hello, Jay.
Hey, everybody.
Jason's coming with us live from Big Pine, Key West, and in Florida. Jay, what's the temp down there today?
It's actually been quite, cool for us. We've had some pretty cool weather over the last week. So for us, it's kind of chilly. So it's in the high 70s. I don't like to rub it in. Weather is usually so much better than most other people, at least in the United States. But
well, if they get all flustered, then it's their baggage. Then they just need to take responsibility, right?
Right, exactly.
Instead of making you feel guilty.
I'm actually at the point where even though a lot of people are complaining it's cold, I kind of like it because I'm like, yeah, I get to wear pants.
Yeah, and sneakers maybe. Well, it's been seasonably warm here in Vermont too.
Oh, that's good.
It's ended up in the middle 40s all week this week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's warm for this.
It is, because you are a Vermonter, so you know we should be having a few feet of snow out there right now. So that's kind of interesting. So
that's
anyway,
why I live.
That's why you live where you live. So anyway, Jason, I'm so glad that you're here, and we have an exciting show that Jason and I have been collaborating on, and we're really excited to get going. But we just want to let you know that in about 25 minutes or just under, we're going to take a break so that we can call into Blog Talk. And I know we have a few people that are going to be calling in, and that's really exciting because we love call-ins. And we'll do the water blessing then. So Jay, how would you let first, Jason, introduce yourself, please?
Well, my name is Jason Kirkpatrick. I am a Isui Shiki-ryoho Reiki Master, and I'm a certified transformational dream builder life coach. I am also in the process of learning some shamanism, so I pretty much bring a lot of that to the table when I do healing sessions and coaching sessions with people. You can contact me on my email at jason@visionlifecoach.com, or you can call me at 802-922-4971, and I do coaching online just the same way that you do a lot of your healings and such. So we can do it via Skype, via the phone, in person. I'm game for all of that. Any way that I can be of service brings joy to my heart.
Mm-hmm. You also do healings though over the phone and by Skype, right?
You know, I'm starting to get into that. I haven't done a lot of that, but a lot more people have been asking for that lately. So yes, I do.
Oh yeah, and the people that I work with over the phone and on Skype, they say it's just as profound. So let's get on with the show because I know we have a lot of people that are tuning in extra special tonight, and I'm really excited. So we left off last show talking about ascension symptoms and how the planetaries were lined up right now between September, and I don't have the date that it started, and sometime in February, where relationships are really being pushed to the test and purging for personal relationships and relationships with others. We touched on that. We touched on some tools and helpful suggestions. And before we maybe go on to anything else, I wanted to know if there was anything else that you would like to add to that.
In regards to like ascension symptoms and relationship issues?
And the purging of relationships with self and others, yes.
I know I personally have been feeling that very strongly in my life, to the point where sometimes you just feel, which leads right into what we're going to be talking about tonight, but sometimes ascension symptoms can make you feel completely overwhelmed. And when the planetary alignments are the way they are, if you're not conscious of what's going on, can make life kind of, I don't want to say difficult because I don't like using words that have negative connotations, but it can be challenging for us to deal with our life circumstances unless we're conscious of the energies that we're going through, because then we can deliberately say, I'm feeling this, but how much of this is really me and how much of this is planetary alignment, the energy that's being focused onto the world, and what can I do with where I'm at in my life and what's being presented? Because obviously if I'm feeling or experiencing something, that's source energy, that's the prime creator, whatever you want to call higher power, speaking to you saying it's time to make change in your life, but it's up to you and free will of what that change is going to be.
Okay, but it's completely different for someone who is not aware or awakened enough to stop and think about all those things. And
Agreed.
And that's when that person can get into personal harmful trouble.
Right, which is what we're going to talk about tonight.
Yes! Not that that's a happy thing, because we don't want anyone ever to hurt themselves.
Right, but we're talking about it so that people can get out of that situation.
Yes, so let's dive in. We're getting close to the holidays. Christmas is what, like maybe 2 weeks, a little bit more away. How many people around the world struggle this time of year because of maybe families, parents who have died on maybe Christmas or New Year's? People who are depressed, people who are homeless, people who have illnesses, and for those group of people that have some awakened knowledge to know where to research on the internet and in books, at least is helpful for them. But the people who don't, the people who are not aware.
Yeah, this time of year hits them really hard. And even some people who are aware, like I look at my partner and he's aware enough to say, okay, yeah, I'm feeling crappy or whatnot, but there are still times when he's very close to his family, but we live here and majority of our family lives up closer to you up in Vermont. So there's still times, we have young children in our family, our nieces and nephew who we miss terribly, that there are times where for even him being so far removed from people who you love and want to be near, and just because of life circumstances, it can hit hard sometimes, and he'll sit here and he'll cry sometimes because he's like, I just want to hold my babies.
Yes, and I have several conversations with people across the country who will say, I moved because I wanted to move, for their own personal growth and adventures. But then they're far away from their family and maybe they don't have the money for an airline ticket, So, but there's many things that we can do to help us during those processes.
Right. Lots of things from the uber spiritual to the kind of mundane physical things that we can do in our life, from, yoga, essential oils, meditation, to going and having a healing done, to listening to a meditation, to, well, those are the main things that I use for myself personally.
Well, I wanted to share this because this, because you're also a distributor like I am for Young Living essential oils. But Calm and Peace and Calm. Yeah, yes. I love this stuff. It's empty though. I gotta get a new one. But and there's lots of other essential oils like Valor and stuff like that.
I should say Valor is my favorite.
Well, I like Valor too, but this seems to, I don't get stressed very often, but every once in a while we all have one of those moments, and because we're human beings, and I seem to like that the most. That's why it's good for people to try varieties of modalities to help them get out of their funk if they have the blues or depression during the holidays. Some people, they get depressed maybe because it's not about family, but maybe it's about their income.
Mm-hmm.
True. I know when I was raising my children as a single parent, I did layaways, which I know a lot of people do. And, you know, you always want to give your children what they ask for to the best that you can without turning them into materialistic children.
Right.
Because I taught my children that even though they got gifts, they didn't get like overwhelmed with gifts. Because I wanted them to know that it was more about us being together as a family and what we did together.
Mm-hmm.
That's so much more, you know, people forget about that. I mean, it's in their memory, you know, but they get so caught up in the hustle bustle pressures. And then you got the people who are ill, the people who are sick, right? I know several people who around the United States alone who, you know, who can't easily get out of the house to go celebrate with friends or family.
I'm actually going through that, not with me personally, but my boss and his wife. Like, she's going through a point where she needs to have a hip replacement, probably, or surgery. So for her, you know, just last week we had to go to an event that was on the beach. We had to walk through the sand, and you know, seeing someone who just has a hard time where we take for granted being able to walk 20 feet is very hard for some people.
Yes.
And luckily, she is one of those people that it will be able to be fixed for her. But there are some people in situations that, you know, maybe they're paralyzed and they're stuck in a wheelchair forever, and they have to learn how to deal with that.
Yes, and we're not making light of that either.
No, not at all.
Even though we do not know what that experience is in this lifetime, we can still have compassion and empathy and love. And that's why it's so important, because so many people take so many things for granted. They take people for granted. They take situations for granted. I mean, I really feel blessed that I can walk out of my bed every morning.
And step out. Well, and I feel blessed because I get to step outside. I live on a canal, and I just greet the morning in the water, and I can now let my dogs outside in a fenced-in yard where I used to have to walk them down the street. So you need to be grateful for the little things.
Yes, yes, and I greet everybody too. So, what about people? What about people who are homeless, Jason?
Well, down here, there's a lot of people who are homeless because we live in a warm climate, and a lot of homeless people gravitate to this area of the world. Key West has a very high homeless population just because, you know, you can sleep outside at night and it doesn't really get cold. And there might be bugs up where on the island I'm at, because as we say, we're in the country of the Keys, which it's not really a country, but down in Key West, I mean, they're always sleeping around the different parks and stuff. And some of them really want to be rehabilitated. And I hate to use that word. It's like there's a problem with them, but there's not a problem with them so much as they want jobs. They want to get back into living life the way that they want to live it. And then some of them are just so afraid and so fearful of whatever it is that they're running from. Because, you know, I've had some conversations with some of them, and they're just so afraid of it that they choose to actually stay homeless.
Aww.
Almost like to them, they feel like life is easier that way, which I guess in some cases, you know, a lot of spiritual philosophies do talk about living humbly and simply. I don't really know any more humble or simple way of living than.
Yeah, that's very unattached.
Right. But there's reasons for, you know, if you're being homeless by choice for a reason, what's the reason that you're detaching so much? Like, are you detaching from your emotions because they're our guidance system? You know, you need to start asking. I say you need to, but it would be best if we started asking ourselves that question of like, what's keeping us where we are if we really want something different.
Exactly. And what things do we want, and what things will make us happy?
Well, I like to really focus on the 4 different domains of our life. I like to focus on our health and our well-being. I like to focus on our vocation, our creative expression, our relationships, and our time and money freedom. So when I work with people, this is Buddy, by the way.
Hi, buddy.
Yeah, he's my Mr. Man. Say hi to everybody. So I really like people to start focusing on those 4 things of their life and really to say, you know, what is it that I want when I think about time and money freedom, when I think about my health? What does my version of optimal health look like? What do I want? What do I see myself doing and being? If I'm thinking about, like, what am I eating? What types of foods am I putting in my body? How often am I exercising? Am I walking down the street? Like, to really be as specific with yourself as possible. And when it comes to getting out of a funk, living your life deliberately, I think, is probably the best way if you can get yourself to the point where you're ready and in alignment with being conscious of every action that you take.
And do you agree that then you need to chunk it down and chunk it down and chunk it down and chunk it down?
I was just going to say, you want to, as I was reading this one book about just being healthy and eating right, and they say don't try to just, you know, snap your fingers and make it all happen overnight. You just got to lean into it and just do what you can with where you're at.
Excuse me, I have a cold.
And so, I mean, to do what you can with where you're at, some of the things that you could do are, like right now you have a cold, right? If I were sitting here, some people when they get sick get really in the blues. They become very emotional. I don't want to say crybabies, but I you know, some people when they get sick, they really get into a victim space.
Like a whine. They whine.
Yeah, they get whiny, which is all right because some people, you know, don't get sick very often, and when they get sick, they're like, "Why me?" But in that case, in those
years, why me?
Essential oils are a great place to turn because not only can you use essential oils are great for mind, body, and spirit. You can say, okay, I have this cold. I'm going to use an essential oil that's good for helping to release the mucus and also to help, you know, kill bacteria. But then I can also use oils that are going to help lift my spirits and make me happier, that bring me an overall state of joy and well-being.
But you also have to listen to your body and rest. I've been diffusing Thieves all week, and Thieves is an essential oil that I'm telling the world, because you already know this, Jason, that is good for like taking out the germs in the house, isn't it?
Yeah, it's actually called Thieves because back during the Black Plague, grave robbers and stuff would douse themselves with this oil so that they wouldn't get sick. They wouldn't get the plague.
Interesting. So see?
That's why it's called Thieves, because literally thieves who were grave robbers would put this on themselves so that they wouldn't get the plague from handling these people who died of it.
Isn't that interesting?
Yep. So I love it.
I never thank you for hearing that because I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I love it. I use it a lot for, I mean, it's very antibacterial and antimicrobial. So I love it a lot. But I mean, I also do things like at night, like for you, how you say sometimes when you're sick, you have trouble sleeping. I might put some lavender on my pillow, or I might dab a little bit on me. So, because lavender is very calming and relaxing. And lavender is one of those oils that's, you know, it's got like 1,001 uses. So many things that lavender can do. So, and I'm not an expert in essential oils by any means. So I'm really just sharing what I've learned from myself personally. I would recommend that if anybody really wants to use essential oils, that they, you know, read some books and find out what's best for them. There's probably lots of things on YouTube, and if you need help purchasing any of them, then Jean and I sell them. So
Yeah, can you put thieves on the bottom of your feet too?
I'm
Or-
sure there's probably a use for that.
So anyway, so some of the things that I was thinking, Jay, that would be helpful too is for people who are alone, you know, on the holidays. Like for example, I haven't been gathering with my family the last few years on the holidays just because of certain circumstances, nothing in an angry way. So I've been down visiting you during those times, and you and I have done volunteering with, you know, feeding less fortunate and the homeless. So, you know, that's something that somebody can do if they're able to get out and walk, you know. Maybe there's a lot of towns, I don't know if they still do it, but if they still do it in my town, they do Christmas caroling. You know, you can maybe if you sing.
Yeah, here in Key West, they actually they did caroling on the conch train. They drove around Key West on the conch train and did Christmas carols from the conch tree.
Awesome. So then anybody who took the train that day got to listen.
That's right. So, and I agree with you. That's a great idea to get out and to be of service, because when you give, it actually, they say by giving, you actually release joy in receiving. So by giving, you're actually putting yourself into alignment with this state of gratitude.
And I love doing that stuff, as you do too. Remember last year we got so excited we did the car wash.
Right.
And we were singing.
We love it.
We got to learn all the words to that, you know, when we're together. Anyway, we're going to be taking a break in 5 minutes so that we can call into Blog Talk. And anybody on Google Plus that wants to call in, the number is 347-989-8446. So other things like Jason, I mentioned in the beginning, you know, meetup groups. There's lots of meetup groups out there, and I'm sure that they have ones for people who are spending the holidays alone. It would not surprise me if they didn't have one of those. For people who are in a position where they can't get out of the house because of an illness or because of having surgery, well, hopefully they have a computer. If they don't have a computer, they can watch the Hallmark Channel because they always have positive Christmas shows.
I love the Hallmark Channel.
I know. And what else? They could play Christmas music. They could remember that even though they're physically feeling alone, that they're not really alone.
Well, I mean, the great thing in today's age is social media. Get on Skype, get on Facebook, get on Instagram and Twitter or whatever it is. They even have this new thing, Periscope, which is made by Twitter, which is all about videos and stuff. So instead of sending little tweets, people are constantly sharing the world with each other in video.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, you can get on and you can watch people live, and I'm sure there's people out there probably doing Christmas carols, or I shouldn't say just Christmas, because I like to say happy holidays. One of my teachers posted on Facebook the other day that the reason we say happy holidays is it's because sometimes in the time between like Thanksgiving and I want to say like the 12th of January, there's something like 29 different holidays that happen throughout the world.
Yes, we're in Hanukkah right now.
Exactly. So, and Kwanzaa just went by, I believe, or is starting soon. I don't know the dates of them, but I know Kwanzaa is about this time. The great thing to know is that this time is all about bringing the light into the world. I mean, that's why Hanukkah is the festival of the lights. I mean, Christmas tree.
Service right now, too.
Yep. So I would say really find what brings you joy and keep it in supply around you for times of need. Like you said, if you like certain music, keep your favorite song on hand. You know,
Yeah.
we wake up in the morning and one of our favorite things to do is, you know, to get us going in the morning and to start our day out great. We really love this song that was like a flash mob of, it's like,
I play it too. I love that song. It's the
right.
song I learned all the words.
All the words, but I think it's called like Every Praise or something like that. And it's just this really fun, upbeat, get you ready for the day music. And we literally go back and forth between videoing ourselves and singing the song and sending it back and listening. And that helps us get into the mood for the day. So
Yes.
you can find whatever it is that helps get you in the mood for that day, whether it be music, whether it be a book, whether it be doing some yoga or dancing, or what. Everybody's different. Whatever brings you joy and that can get you into that place to be in a state of joy for the day.
And make little Post-it notes and stick them everywhere. I've got Post-it notes all over my house that say things like, "I'm in the flow."
You're
"The universe always
beautiful.
provides for me. I am beautiful." You know, all my desires and dreams are fulfilled, because, as you know, Jason, but not everybody knows, to manifest and create what you want, you have to think it, write it, and feel it.
And even speak it.
Yeah.
Everything carries a different vibration, a different frequency, and the more of them you tap into, the more power of creation you bring to it, the easier it is for you to manifest it.
Exactly. And on that note, I'm going to pause you. We're going to take a commercial. Not a commercial. We're going to take a pause and call into Blog Talk. I'll be right back, Jay.
Okay. Okay, bye. Come here, handsome. What the puppies? Say hello. Chilling?
Hi, Jay.
Hi, Jean.
We're all called into Blog Talk, and we go live with Blog Talk in 30 seconds. 30 seconds
until showtime.
There we go. So we might as well just hang, okay? You got your water?
Mm-hmm.
Your water, for anyone who wants your water charged, please.
Wada, wada, wada.
Wada, wada, wada.
Buddy's just loving me tonight. I think he wants to say hi to everybody.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, let me turn the volume up. There we go. Let's put this like this. Okay. Welcome, Blog Talk listeners. Thank you and welcome to the Healing Circle number 44. And we have special guest Jason Kirkpatrick from Big Pine, Key West. And we're talking about all all the varieties of different experiences that people go through in the holiday during the holidays, and some hopeful, helpful tips for them.
So we had mentioned
Oh wait,
essential
let's do the water
we-
first.
Oh, you're going to do water first. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You know what it is? I have a cold and I have a low-grade fever, so please forgive me, everyone. I didn't mean to space out the water. Okay, here we go. I'm placing my hands over everybody's water, and don't worry, you won't get my sick germs. And it's ready for everyone to drink. That was funny. As soon as I said that, the dog did a little growl there.
They're playing over a bone.
Oh, hey, listen, we have a call in. Should we take them on and see if you want to talk?
Yeah.
Woohoo! Okay, hang on. Area code 410. Hi, welcome.
Good evening. Hello, Jane. Hello, Jason.
Hello.
Hi. Hi. I can't really. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear her, Jason?
You can hear me?
I can hear her. I know some people sometimes have a hard time hearing me.
All right. Why I can hear you.
Okay.
But it's not really well, but I can make it out. Yeah, I've been listening to what the two of you have been talking about. It's very interesting. The holidays can be very difficult for a lot of people, especially myself. And I just, a couple of hours ago, I went to a yoga and a meditation circle afterwards. So, you know, those things help me. A good thing to do before the new moon, too.
That's great, Sarah. Oh, is that one of the things that you do to help you especially during this time of the year?
I'm sorry, I can barely hear you. What do I do?
Is this one of the activities that you
Yes.
do for yourself to help you during these times of the year, even though you probably do it other times?
Yes, it helps me a lot. Meditation. I
Sarah,
don't often do it, not as often as I should. But, yeah, so I heard Jason talking about that.
yes, we've both been talking about it all night. And hang on, please. I'm going to bring another caller on.
Sure.
Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening, area code 562. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Is this a psychic show for messages or no?
Well, usually it is, but I don't know, Jason, did you want to do messages? We're talking about tonight how people can have some tools and to help them during the holidays with all the stresses. So if usually I do this show at 10:30 on Thursday mornings, and I'm channeling the Ascendant Masters, and then I'm answering questions.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll just listen then.
All right, thank you. And maybe you'll call in next Thursday. At 10:30 in the morning, okay? 10:30 in the morning. Okay, I'm going to put you back on hold.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you for calling in area code 410, because is there any other suggestions that you would like to offer to our listeners?
Are you talking to me, Jean?
Yes, Sarah, I'm talking to you.
Oh, I thought you might be. Well, you know, it's hard to stay grounded sometimes. You're talking about ascension.
We're talking about the
you
ascension
know,
symptoms. We're talking about purging with personal relationships with yourself. We're talking about purging and healing relationships with others. And we're talking about helpful tools to help people during the holidays who get depressed.
Well,
well,
because all of those things
I
hit
think it's
hard this time.
around the holidays. I don't have a really happy memories, of Christmas. The way I grew up and everything. So I can remember one Christmas spending, locking myself in my bedroom, and I had scrambled eggs. That was my Christmas dinner. So I certainly don't want to be doing that.
I understand, Sarah. There's many of us that had similar type Christmases. And
Yeah.
for me personally, I know you don't have any children, but what helped me is having children. But now that they're grown, what I've done is I've just done some personal healing on self-worth for celebrating. I had a friend suggest to me years ago. She said, she actually lives in the same state that you do. She said, I watched my family open up their stocking stuffers every Christmas, right? Besides their presents. And there's never any for me. Not even my husband thinks about it, right? She said, so I decided I'm going to buy my own stocking stuffers. I'm going to wrap them, stick them in my stocking, and be surprised when I open them on Christmas morning.
Oh,
Sounds
wow.
like love.
Go ahead, Jason. You had something you wanted to add.
Oh, I don't remember exactly what I was going to say. That to me just sounds like self-love. I think during this time of year, it's very important for us to honor ourselves and to give ourselves a little bit more of some love and nurturing that we might not necessarily. A lot of times we look to other people to fulfill that need within inside of us. And I think that it's important for us to really start taking responsibility for feeling that love and nurturing ourselves and doing whatever it is to make us feel that way. And so, buying yourself some presents and putting them in a stocking to be excited to open something on Christmas, I think that's a great idea.
Well, and my birthday is next week, so it's 10 days before Christmas.
Yeah, it is.
You know how that goes.
So,
But anyway, I buy
give yourself
myself a
a
present.
present?
Yes, I do. I buy
Is that
myself
what
a
you're saying?
present. Yep, I buy myself a present. And even if I don't have the money to maybe buy something that's higher than $50, I went to Gemstones last week Sunday with a friend of mine, and I bought myself a black onyx double pointed crystal for 50 cents. And I was like, oh, this is one of my
that's
birthday.
nice.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is one of my birthday presents.
And
Yeah.
birthday.
Well,
That's what I mean.
this purging thing. Can we
Yeah.
talk about purging?
Yeah, let's talk about purging.
Well, okay. Well, I was going through quite a bit of that, and now it's not so bad. It's almost like I catch myself, and I'm like, wait a minute. So the release, I guess it's released itself. For now, anyway. I don't know. None of us can be sure.
Yeah, when we think we
I believe it has to do with the astrological, what's happening, in our charts and things like that.
yeah, and right now with that planetary stuff happening from September to February, forcing people to really look at relationships with themselves and others. And I think it was yesterday. What's today? Thursday. I don't remember if it was Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. There was a major sun flare, like the biggest one that they had seen. And go ahead.
Do you? I actually heard from someone, I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm kind of thinking it might be, that during these solar flares, that we're actually getting, updates. We're getting updates.
Yes. Did you see my eye, Jay?
These terrible thing, and they can be very disturbing.
Very intense.
They whack me out, but that's what I heard. I don't know. It would be okay.
I've actually read some articles.
What, Jay?
I've been reading some articles and such lately that have been linking the mind-body spiritual evolution to the energy that comes from the sun, and they actually say that the energy that comes with solar flares, as much as they say, some of the environmentalists and such are talking about how solar flares are bad because it's, we don't have the protection from the sun, and that's so much extra energy raining down on us, that energy is actually almost forcing an evolutionary leap for humans on a mental, spiritual level. So, to the point where, there are some people out there who believe that they can live just off from absorbing energy from the sun. They literally breathe in the energy of sunlight, and that's what they believe sustains them, which it must be working because there's some who are still living.
Yeah.
That's I think
it's 11:11.
Yeah. No, I know that.
Prayers for everyone, love for everyone, peace for everyone.
But purging can be hard and difficult for some people, and this time of the year, I think, is a time that it's almost, the winter time in regards to if you really live your life based on seasons, in most philosophical spiritual traditions, the winter time is the time to kind of go within and do your inner work and to do your purging and releasing, to be reborn again in the spring. So right now, the energies that come into the world are designed to help us bring up all that stuff that we've been stuffing for so long. And it just happens to be that, this time of the year, right, we're used to being around friends and family, or, there's all these expectations of what the holidays mean and or are. And we get caught up sometimes in the, if we're not experiencing, if we're not doing what everybody else is doing, that therefore we are then lacking. And that's just simply not the case. But that doesn't stop us from feeling that way. But when we do, it's a great idea for us to start using some self-reflection tools of, what's making me feel this way? What's making me act this way? What thoughts am I thinking? What am I feeling?
And if you're feeling something that's sad, then usually you think back through your life and you're like, okay, why do I get what makes me sad around this holiday or this day or this time of day? Sometimes there's people that have specific times of the day too, on a certain day, a time at a certain day, sometime in the year, and it might not be a holiday, where something comes up for them. And for those people, I think it's because either A, something happened in this lifetime that was traumatic that you blocked out, or B, it's happened in a previous lifetime that is so close to this lifetime. You know what I mean? That it's in your face.
Right. It's energy that we haven't released from previous lifetimes and that we're karmically bringing with us into this lifetime.
Right. Like a lot of people cannot stand wearing a turtleneck or having a scarf too close around their neck, right? Now, maybe they weren't strangled in this lifetime, okay? But maybe in a past life they were, or maybe in a past life they were beheaded or hung. So they don't want anything tight around their throat because energetically they still remember.
What's funny is I'm like that with clothes in general. I'm like, to me, clothes just feel so constricting and confining. And I mean, I know I'm not alone in this because a lot of my friends say this, but like the first thing I do when I get home is strip these clothes off, and I find the most comfortable thing that I can put on.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
Turtlenecks, anything that makes me feel, socks, anything that really makes me feel like I'm bound.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
How do you feel about turtlenecks, Sarah?
Is she still on?
Sarah?
Oh, I can barely hear you guys. I'm sorry. What did you say?
How do you feel about turtlenecks?
About what?
Turtlenecks.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Oh,
Turtlenecks.
turtleneck. Oh, that's so funny. I did hear you talk about. Now, see, I'm the opposite. I always have to have something around my neck.
Oh, isn't
It's
that
like I like
interesting?
And especially now that it's getting cooler, it's like I have to, even at work, while I'm at work, I'll have scarves around my neck. So, isn't that strange?
I think it's very interesting because it seems like it's a comfort for you, besides warmth.
Yes.
That is really interesting. Can I take a look at that energetically real quick while Jason talks?
Sure. Yes.
You're the
Please.
first person I've ever met that likes them, so that's why I'm asking. Thank you. I'll get back to you while Jason talks.
I mean, I have some friends that are into turtlenecks and such too, but I think for the most part, everybody approaches everything differently. What works for one person doesn't work for all. Just like how Jean was saying, it's best to, really try different modalities and such for dealing with our issues. I mean, we all wear different clothing based on where we're at. I live in a warm place, so I tend to not have to wear much clothing, but that works well for me because I don't really like to wear a lot of clothing. My partner's the same way. He gets really bad seasonal depression, so we moved to the sunshine so that he wouldn't have that issue. And the thought of having to put clothes on and layer up is extremely depressing to him. But just with Sarah, I mean, she likes wearing that. It's a comfort for her. I'm sure that lots of other people feel the same way. I just think it's all based on the individual and where we're all at and our perspective and how we approach life.
Would you like to know what I got?
Would I like to what?
Sarah, do you want to know the answer I got about why you like turtlenecks and that comfort thing?
Yes.
This is what I got.
Yes.
And you're welcome to validate Jason or not, because I feel pretty confident. What they said was 3 lifetimes ago, you were an opera singer. And when you were done singing, you would wrap your throat in kind of like I hope I can say this correctly, like a poultice. How do you say that, Jason?
A poultice.
Yes, thank you.
And in a way to protect your voice.
Yes, and to soothe it from just singing.
Isn't that something? I do like to sing. Keep going.
And see, it even sounds like you like to belt it out.
Okay.
I said it even sounds like she likes to belt it out.
I do.
That's very cool.
That's awesome, G.
Thank you for letting me look at you like that.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, I know. We've worked together before.
Mm-hmm. So,
So we've talked about different tools to use. We've talked about essential oils. We've talked about meditation. We've talked about the affirmations. We've talked about how important it is to create that community around you so that if you're feeling lonely, you have people to go and to confide in. I'm a big proponent and believer that, family's not always blood. Family are, I have a lot of people who I choose to be family with. Some of my friends are my soul family. I say I'm much closer to than even some people in my blood family, and there's nothing wrong with that because, I mean, really, they're just our family for this lifetime, and we're all connected, and we've all shared lives together. I mean, that's my belief. So therefore, they might be my family in this lifetime, but you know, they might be a friend in the next.
Yes, and we choose our families for our best lessons and teachings.
Right. And I love the idea of meditating, because meditating is the idea of, well, there's so many different kinds of meditations. Like you have your peace and comfort meditation. So if people are having issues, they can listen to that and that's kind of more of like a visualization meditation. So you can do that and really project yourself into feeling better, and allowing yourself to feel better. There are people who like to do like the type of meditation where all you do is empty yourself. You just focus on your breathing and
the rise and fall of your chest.
Exactly. And just focus on allowing your energy to recharge. And then yoga is a great thing. That's a moving meditation. Singing is even a great thing. That's a vocal meditation. Dancing is a great thing. That's another form of meditation. You know, to me, meditation is
sound. You know, like when you're angry, not you, Sarah, but you, meaning in general, I'm talking to everybody.
Proverbial to you.
If you're angry, instead of yelling and screaming, like if you're alone and you happen to be angry about something, growl. You know, if you're sad, then cry or you gotta let it out. You gotta release it somehow.
I take a pillow and I go.
Yeah, because if you yell and scream, you burn out 5,000 throat cells. That's why people's throats hurt, because you just fried out 5,000 cells.
Mm-hmm. They actually say first thing in the morning, talking is actually very hard on the vocal cords. I don't know if we're aware of that, if people who are listening are aware of that. And when I was really big into doing musical theater, my friends and I would always talk about how in the morning, instead of talking, it's actually best to sing softly. So, I mean, I could understand that instead of screaming, just sing loudly. Whatever it is that will let it out.
Yeah, that fight song.
This is my fight song.
or Tom Petty. What's that song? And I stand my ground and won't be pushed around.
Oh yeah.
I used to play that song on the way to someone's house. If I was going to clear their house of like evil stuff, that would be my pump up song.
Well, music is very, very powerful. I mean, it takes the idea of, physical vibration and frequency, but it also takes in the idea of like sacred geometry and mathematics. So, I mean, it speaks on many different levels, and it really affects, they've done studies on how music really affects our brain.
Yeah.
I mean, they even say if someone were to listen to music, our brains light up in places that they don't really in other ways, just listening to music. But they also say if you learn to play an instrument, when you play an instrument, our brains light up like nothing else.
See, and that's connected to sound.
Exactly.
Because I think you agree with this, that that technically we are meant to communicate through telepathy and sound with our voice, not use words.
I agree with that. Otherwise, why would we be empathic beings? Why would we automatically be able to pick up and know when someone is sad? I mean, we're so intuitive when we see each other, and when we interact with each other. But a lot of times we get into this right now. not all around the world, but in the United States, we live in kind of a me centered culture. And I think that we shut ourselves off from really being able to be connected to our true selves, to be able to really connect with others.
But it's not really our fault, Jason. It's because how we're programmed.
Right, exactly. And there are things like this, like Skyping and or video chatting, which has a lot of amazing benefits to it. But when you think about how most people, I mean, you see commercials and stuff nowadays on TV where people are sitting around the dinner table and they're just doing this. It's like, where's the real interaction? Where's the real...
Yeah, but have you seen the new commercial out where it's two dads sitting at the table with their two kids? I forget if I think the kids are two girls. And they pass a basket around the kitchen table and everybody puts their cell phone in it and then it goes over here.
Right. It's all about knowing that we have tools that can be useful and benefit to us, but also knowing when too much is too much. You know, it's all about balance.
Yes, and I believe that when you're sitting down to a meal, regardless of which meal it is, that you should be present.
Right. And grateful.
I mean, yes, but I mean, I can see a person leaving their cell phone on at a dinner if they're expecting like an important call.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or maybe they're parents that are out on a date and they have a babysitter. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, there's always exceptions to the rule. And when you have to, you know, self-care, take care of you.
Right. That balance, because there's more to life than your phone.
And I think that that's what causes a lot of harm this time of year is people have all these thoughts and ideas of expectations of what other people think that they should be doing with their lives and how they should be living and what they should be doing, when it's really, you know, you're the only one who can live your life. You're the only one who can allow yourself to feel a certain way. That being said, obviously there are going to be people in your life who, you know, say things in a way that you're meant to hear them that might not necessarily feel the greatest, so that you can learn from it.
Jason, we have to wrap up the show, so please tell everybody how can they get a hold of you and who you are.
My name is Jason Kirkpatrick. I am my business name is the Vision Life Vision Life Coach, and you can reach me at jason@visionlifecoach.com, and you can also call me at 802-922-4971, because even though I live in the Florida Keys, I'm still a Vermonter at heart. And that's pretty much it.
What do you offer?
I am a Isui Shiki Ryoho Reiki master, so I do energy healings mixed with some shamanism. And I also I'm a certified dream builder transformational life coach, so I do offer 12-week sessions if you are interested in that. And I run a spirituality meetup group. We are on Facebook. Holistica Pathways to Wellbeing. You can find me there, and we have all sorts of fun things going on online and in person. And that's it for now.
And I'm Jean Selch, also known as Jean of Divine Healing. And you can find me on www.jeanofdivinehealing.com. I'm also on Facebook, and you can also find me on the spiritualbistro.com.
60 seconds.
I am a multidimensional healer channel. I do healings for people, couples, over the phone, over Skype, and in person, and I do classes. So you can host me for a class. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight, and for people who are going to listen in the archives. Jason, thank you for joining us. And Jason has agreed that once a month he's going to come on, and we're going to do a show together. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
And thank you, Sarah, for calling in.
Thank you.
Namaste. God bless you. Aho.
Namaste. Thank you.
And
Bye.
bye. And remember, you are love, everyone. And remember, you are worthy. Any closing words, Jay?
That's it. Love to all of you, unconditionally.
Love. Good night, Jay.
Good night, Jean and everyone.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you for listening.